History didn't just remember Cleopatra. History was forced to bow to her. She wasn't merely a queen. She wasn't merely a lover of kings. And she definitely wasn't just the last ruler of Egypt. Cleopatra did something far more dangerous. She became a goddess not in myth, but in power. Before Rome ruled the world, before Caesar's shadow stretched across continents, Egypt was ancient, older than memory itself. And Egypt didn't worship kings. It worshipped gods made flesh. Pharaohs weren't elected. They were divine vessels, the living bridge between heaven and earth. By the time Cleopatra was born in 69 BC, Egypt was weak, fractured, and humiliated. Rome circled like a vulture. Men ruled with swords, and empires rose through violence. But Cleopatra understood something they didn't. Real power doesn't come from force. It comes from belief. Cleopatra was born into the Ptolemaic dynasty, Greek rulers who were just pretending to be Egyptian gods. But here's what history rarely tells you. She was the only one in her entire family who bothered to learn the Egyptian language, the only one who studied their rituals, the only one who truly respected their gods. Why? Because Cleopatra didn't just want to rule Egypt, she wanted Egypt to believe in her. At just 18 years old, she was betrayed, exiled, and erased from the record. Her own brother sat on the throne that was meant for her. Most people would have run. Cleopatra returned with a plan. Rome had arrived, and with it, Julius Caesar, the most dangerous man alive. Cleopatra didn't meet him with an army. She met him wrapped in a carpet, not as a beggar, not as a victim, but as a vision. She understood something timeless. Men remember how you make them feel. Cleopatra didn't seduce Caesar with her beauty. She seduced him with destiny. She spoke as if Egypt itself was speaking through her. She didn't say, "I want power." She said, "I am power." And Caesar believed her. Now, listen carefully, because this is where the transformation begins. Cleopatra did something no Roman woman, no queen, no ruler dared to do. She aligned herself with Isis, the most powerful goddess in Egypt. Isis wasn't just about beauty. Isis was life, death, rebirth, and absolute control. Cleopatra dressed as Isis. She spoke as Isis. She ruled as Isis. Coins were minted with her image, not as a woman, but as a divine authority. She didn't just claim she was chosen by the gods. She claimed she was one of the gods, and the people accepted it, because belief is always stronger than swords. After Caesar's death, Rome expected Cleopatra to fall. Instead, she rose again. This time with Mark Antony. Rome saw a romance. Cleopatra saw leverage. She arrived to meet him on a golden ship, dressed as a living goddess, with incense filling the air. She wasn't asking for an alliance. She was declaring her supremacy. Rome's generals mocked her, right up until they started following her orders, because Cleopatra never ruled men. She ruled symbols. But Rome could tolerate a queen. It could not tolerate a god. Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus, knew this. So he did what all threatened empires do. He rewrote the story. He reduced Cleopatra to a seductress, a temptress, a foreign distraction, because calling her a goddess was far too dangerous. When defeat became inevitable, Cleopatra made one final, strategic decision. She would not be paraded through Rome as a prisoner. She would not kneel. She chose her death as a ritual, not an escape. A final act of divinity. Even in death, she controlled the narrative. You see, Cleopatra didn't lose. She was erased. Rome destroyed her image because her very existence proved something terrifying. A woman with intelligence, symbolism, and belief can destabilize entire empires without raising a single sword. They called her immoral because they feared her mind. They called her weak because they feared her influence. They called her a lover because they couldn't call her a god. So listen carefully. Cleopatra's real power wasn't her beauty, her seduction, or her romances. It was identity control. She decided who she was and forced the world to accept it. And here is the truth. History whispers but never says out loud. The moment you define yourself, instead of asking for permission, you become dangerous. Cleopatra didn't ask to be remembered. She commanded it. And that is why, 2,000 years later, we are still speaking her name. Thanks for watching.